Hey everybody. Wednesday, hump day, thank goodness. I don't know what everyone's been doing, but it feels like it's the end of the week already, and I wish it was. What lives have you seen this week? There's been so many. I honestly can't begin to think what ones I've enjoyed because I've seen so many. I know on Mother's Day there were some great ones. Was anyone lucky enough to see their mums on Mother's Day? I know a lot of places couldn't see them, but some people did. I got to see mine quite quickly and my grandmother, but was that for a couple of minutes, so that was it. Hi Karen, how you going? You were in quick. Nice to see you. I'm sure you watched a few lives because I saw you on a couple. Tonight we've got Dom Italiano joining us. He's got a new single that he released on Friday and he's going to tell us all about it. And he's been doing some interesting things in his isolation. So we're going to have a chat to him about those sorts of things. So pop your questions in and let us know if you've already heard the song. Come and tell us about it. We might welcome Don into the room. Hi.
G'day, how you going?
Good, how you going? I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me, that's good. That's excellent news. Otherwise, people might think this ginormous microphone next to my head is just a prop.
It's one of those fake ones. Yeah.
It is fake. Actually, no, it's real. Look, there you go.
Oh, no, that's tapping.
It's real. It's real fake.
It's real fake. It's even plugged in. I have lights on my ute that aren't plugged in, so I understand what fake is.
I have lights on my car that are plugged in but still don't work. But I haven't had to go anywhere for 2 months, so I'm like, well, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to fix them till probably not till the end of the year.
No, easily. You probably get away with that for longer if you just do day driving.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed.
No night gigs, day gigs.
We were talking earlier. Your fancy backdrop?
Well, not as fancy as yours. Mine was cheaper than yours.
Yes, yours probably took less time to accrue. And
yes.
Yeah, mine is pretty good. I like mine.
It's colourful. Yours is colourful. How many have you got there?
I think I've got about 13 guitars. I know I said about 13, so 13 sounds very specific, but I think it's 13 guitars and then numerous other things that I don't know how to play, like a mandolin and a ukulele and stuff.
Just, to look good, collect dust.
Well, like that kind of thing where you go, oh, I'm going to learn that one day. Kind of like jigsaw puzzles. You buy jigsaw puzzles. Go, I'm going to do that jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah, no. It's like after you start, the first piece goes down and you're done. I don't know what you're thinking. Why would you buy 1,000 pieces?
My approach to playing other instruments apart from guitar is the same. It's like I kind of get on the edges and then I go, oh, that's too hard.
Yeah. Do it later.
Totally how I got a mandolin. Like, what do you mean it's not tuned like a guitar? Oh, it's too hard.
Yeah, someone else can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, luckily we know lots of good mandolin players.
You don't really need. Yeah. There's a few in Melbourne. There's a few down that way.
There are lots of I mean, it actually just amazes me how often people say to me, "Hey, do you know blah blah blah?" And I go, "No," and then it's just another incredible musician. I go, how do I not know?
Them. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's the beauty about it. We can still learn new stuff.
Wow. Yeah, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he says he's still 5 years old in his head, and I think I'm about 7 years old in my head, which is why we all are still always just between us, like swapping books and like just like inventing things. Well, not inventing things, like finding ways to get our inventions not to work. But yeah, still super creative, and because we're kids, like kids are.
Why not? Why would we want to grow up? It's more fun. Back then, it was way more fun. Going to the letterbox used to be fun.
What used to be fun?
Going to the letterbox. It's not fun anymore.
Well, it certainly used to be less expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you've had a busy week. You've released your single on Friday.
Yeah.
The Arsonist. Tell us a little bit. I love the cover work. I was looking at that and thought that is so cool. Tell us about it.
Do you want to hear about the cover work? That was a photograph that I got off one of those websites where you buy the image, Shutterstock or something like that. and then I put it on Canva and I put our names on it, and it was like, you know what, that kind of looks like an album cover. I'm going to go with that. But yeah, it's a good photo.
Why not? I do. I love it.
Yeah,
Great.
some real photographer actually did take the photo. So
It's a real
thanks,
photo.
thanks to them for uploading it, so I could buy it for $1.15 or whatever it was.
Oh, it was less than a song.
It was. Yeah, I think my song is actually on iTunes for $1.19, so I might break even.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
I might break even.
this is how you do an album on a budget.
Oh, do you know what though? Like, I personally don't know anyone who isn't doing albums on a budget these days. Like, it's and it's amazing too how I think accommodating everyone is being, like, in the whole chain of, like, whether it's publicity, it's advertising of any other kind, production, mastering, like everyone's kind of going, look, we want the industry to be able to do what it's always done, but there's just no money in selling records. So
No.
I think financially people are being accommodating. You're not
Yep.
spending the kind of money that people were spending when I first
Exactly.
started. You wanted to do an album, you were up for 50 grand.
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah, and now you're up for 43. So
yeah, so much cheaper, so much better. It's, nearly a car. It's not even a new car anymore. 43 years after time.
Well, I did for this album that's coming out. So the Arsonist came out on Friday, but the album's coming out in June, and we did a possible campaign for it. And part of that, people do get inquisitive as to, like, how much does an album cost to make, and they're always stunned, even though it's not a lot of money. They're like, wow, it's like, it really is like an expensive thing to do. And I was like, yeah, but it's kind of like, if you're a jet skier, like, and you buy a jet ski, like, you go, well, that's how much, like, a jet ski is how much it costs to make a record. And
yeah, true.
And well, on a budget still, but there is that element of people spend that kind of money on the things that they're passionate about spending their time on all the time, but somehow the everyday person still doesn't think that an album should cost money to make. Like,
I know they don't know. Or why should we pay for the music? Well, because somebody's paid to make it. And do you want more?
do you know what though? I don't think people have a problem paying for music at all. They just have a problem paying for music they don't know or like.
Yeah, I guess
so.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so people will pay for, the new Foo Fighters record when it comes out if they're a Foo Fighters fan, right?
Yep.
But, like, I'm not a Foo Fighters fan, so I won't pay for it. Like, but I also won't probably try to listen to it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's a really strange industry. It's a strange industry now, how it works, because it used to be you'd buy your albums and you listen because it was your only way.
Yeah, look, I was with part of my live streaming. I've been doing these virtual world tours, and one of the first ones I did was places that influenced my songwriting, and I had photos of, like, the park down the road from where I used to live. I used to go and write songs in, and one of them was a JB Hi-Fi store in Camberwell, which is where I used to work, and I used to like I spent all of my money at this place, and I would get paid like every second Thursday night, and so Friday I would work out how much I could afford to spend at JB Hi-Fi for the fortnight and buy 12 CDs.
Yep.
And most of them I'd never heard before. Like, I didn't, you couldn't hear music, and so you just go, well, you take a punt, and sometimes you get a great Bob Dylan record, and sometimes you get James Blunt's first album, and some of those we've kept, and some of them we've given away.
Some of them we gave for Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Karen's just popped in. She said it's very expensive to make an album. Artists don't get it back with streaming. No, they don't get anything much out of streaming, but they do get fans. They do get people that see them and learn to like what they're doing, because it's just another form of advertising, really, isn't it?
It 100%. So a lot of people will rail at how much streaming pays, but um, it is effectively an ad for you
Yeah.
as an artist, and it's an ad. Well, that's kind of what a record or a music video is, isn't it? It's like it's
Yeah.
an ad for your gig, and maybe the physical CD. Look, I've even got one here.
Oh, you've got one. You're so
Like
organised.
a physical CD is like a memento from the gig that they saw you at.
Yes.
Maybe like a T-shirt is, or a hat, or something like that. And
Yep.
I do think, look, I got to say, if it, I was about to say if I've got to say, and then I realized I wasn't able to say what I was going to say. But now I'll rephrase it in my head, and other than the independent CDs that I bought at gigs in the last, say, 5 to 7 years,
Yep.
all of the music that I purchased has absolutely all of the music I purchased has come from being able to discover it on Spotify.
Yep.
And
That's
it's
cool.
like, and
Yeah.
having like an album finish that you've listened to on Spotify, and then the next song that shows up was like a suggested song that by another artist, and you go, oh my god, how come I've never heard of that singer
Yeah.
before? So I mean, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
point railing against it. It's a
No,
great
it's
music
yeah,
discovery
we
tool.
can't change it. And it is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great advertising tool. Now let's talk about your song, which
Okay.
we'll cover. Tell us about it. How did I actually saw that you wrote this and recorded it 12 months ago. Is there a reason you've left it to now to release?
Yeah. Um,
You were
I
waiting for
probably
coronavirus.
well, I was waiting for my evil plan to unfold. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, no. I just want to clarify. No, it wasn't my evil plan. It's got nothing to do with me. Believe me. um, what took so long for it to release it? So we did the Possible campaign last February, and recorded during March, and it really the CD was kind of you know getting posted out to the pledges early May last year. Um, but right about 2 months before we were going to really release it, um, we I don't mind saying this. My partner and I lost a pregnancy,
Okay.
and that just kind of threw everything into turmoil, and in a sense of we had to cancel a bunch of things based around that, and then um, we decided that we would move house, and then that kind of added time, to, and then it was October, you know,
Yeah.
by the time we kind of got our head around it again, it was
Yeah.
like, oh well, this is a terrible time to start replanning a release, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, so really it was just a couple of things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so just life stuff.
And how do you feel now about releasing with everything that's going on? Do you think it's a good time for you to be releasing? You're happy to do it? Obviously you are, because you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Look, I don't think look, what is happening right now is so unprecedented. It's hard to know whether this is a good time to release music or not. And maybe it's a terrible time to release music because no one's got any money, or everyone's attention is elsewhere, or the internet's saturated with all kinds of musicians, doing live streaming and stuff like that. I don't know what the answer is, but what I do know is it's been sitting around for too long. This music,
Yeah.
and um, I've also got lots of other music that I've been
Yeah.
writing and recording, and like if I don't release this music now, then
You've got
it's
too
just
much.
going to be a backlog of stuff, and
Yeah.
um, it deserves to be out there because well, the people who've heard it like it. Well, not
Yeah.
all the people, but lots of people have heard it
Most
like it.
I haven't heard any bad comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell
that's
us
good.
about it. Tell us about the writing and why you wrote this song and what it's about.
Well, okay. The Arsonist is really. All right, well, let me just give you kind of, if it's okay, like a bit of um, a kind of explanation as to what songwriting is for me.
Yeah.
I I started writing songs probably when I was a little kid, but really it was as soon as I got a guitar when I was 12, I started writing songs. Um, and it was definitely as a tool for expressing and exploring ideas that I didn't know how to put into everyday speech. and communication. So,
Yeah.
and that's a very common thing you'll hear from songwriters. You know, this is where I go to solve my problems, or say something that I can't say to somebody else. And a lot of times that process is actually talking to yourself. You know, the characters in your song are you,
Yeah.
trying to solve the problem for the character that's, you know, in your head, kind of thing. Um, and so the arsonist is um, very much about trying to revisit the idea that we have, that we know deep down, which is that we struggle through life, whether or not we're privileged or we're not. We struggle because it's in our human history to be at odds with the world. You know,
Yep. Yeah.
once upon a time it was, you know, saber-toothed tigers and you know, trying to hunt us down, and you know, now it's you know, traffic. You know, everything, things are dangerous still, and things are still threatening our everyday way of life in that way. And so the arsonist is really about, you know, hey Dom, the reason why you have trouble getting out of bed some days is because it is in your nature to struggle against stuff that's trying to get you. Um, and then also then looking at it from a more broader perspective, you know, we're all kind of railing against problems like that. And now we've got a new one. We've got a
Yeah.
coronavirus type scenario, which is like, well, it's an unseen force that could take us down at any point, and we have to be vigilant and careful. So, I guess the idea is, you know, the arsonist is something that comes along to destroy things, and then the next line is, you know, if you are the arsonist, I am the fireman, and that's what we're always trying to do, is solve a problem, you know, put out a fire, knowing that there's going to be another one to put out,
Yep.
you know, tomorrow. Yeah.
That's right.
So there's
That's
a
right.
short answer for you.
So, what did you sit down and write this song in one go, or is this something that, you know, you'd been fighting with yourself to try and come up with those sorts of responses to yourself?
No, I certainly didn't write it in one go. I and you know, sometimes people will say, oh, you know, that song took me half an hour to write, but you know,
Mhm.
probably what it took you is your whole life to get to that point where you could write it down real quick. And some songs I do write quickly, and some songs take a very long time. But this one, um, I don't really, cannot really remember a specific. Oh, this is when that song was finished.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I did write most of the songs on this record lyrically over a course of maybe a year whilst
Wow.
walking my dog. Um,
You have a very
it,
fit dog.
he is a very fit dog. But you know, to be fair, he was running a lot and I was walking. So, but yeah, a lot of that kind of just meditative, kind of out for a walk for an hour, ideas pop into your head, and then you kind of, you know, stay with that a little bit, and then see if you can turn it into something more refined and specific.
See, I find that really impressive, because if I was out walking my dog and I had this amazing idea while I was out there, there is no way I would remember that by the time I got home.
Oh, absolutely, totally agree with you. There's no way I remember anything if it wasn't for having note app on my phone or the voice notes. I'd be completely lost.
As you're walking
Yeah,
along.
it's so
Don't
funny.
run now for
There's a
record.
there's a whole period of like 3 years when I lived in another house, the same town I'm in now, but I lived in another house, and it was like dirt roads where we were. So there's all these voice notes of me talking or singing a melody, and just the crunch of me walking on the dirt track, like in the background. And it's quite funny too, because it, like, all of the songs I wrote at that period of time, the first draft of the songs were all at the same kind of tempo. They're all at
Crunching.
walking pace. Um, and it wasn't until we sort of went in to record with Damien Cafarella that we're like, okay, we need to speed that one up, slow that one down, change the feel of that one, because they're all very much like
Yeah.
walking, crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah,
Good workout. Good walk stuff too. Go out.
yeah, yeah. That's what my new people are saying, that you should have like an elevator pitch for what your music is. Like, what kind of music do you play? I'm like, yeah, music you can walk your dog to. That's me.
That's me. Yep. That's exactly what I write for.
Yeah, I don't
Now-
want you cat lovers. No, I don't want cat lovers. Dog
Me.
walkers. No worries.
Oh dear. Now you've got an album. That is something I was going to. You're releasing very soon.
Yes.
Only a few weeks away from release. That's the album there.
The Hurt Party. Yes.
Tell us about the album. And obviously, you wrote it very quickly and in 12 months. And
No, well, I wrote it at walking pace. It wasn't quick at all. Well, I'll tell you why it's called the Hurt. So it's called the Hurt Party for people who may be watching, right? And the reason why it's called the Hurt Party is because I have this book, and I think the book is called "Why Won't You Apologize" or "Why Won't You Say Sorry." And it's written by the psychologist for people who try to come to terms with the fact that somebody has done something that they think they've done something wrong to them, right? And they can't work out why that person won't say sorry. And so when you are in that situation, the person who feels like they've been aggrieved has to work through it themselves because sometimes they never get that resolution.
Yeah.
And maybe I had an experience like that myself. But throughout the book, the author, the psychologist, refers to the person who is upset as the hurt party, right? So the hurt party feels like they are owed an apology, and it's all through the book. And I just kept thinking, oh, that's such a cool idea! Like a whole bunch of people who feel upset get together, like and have a party. Right? And I thought, well, that's got to be what my album's called.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, that's what half the songs are about. So yeah, that's why it's called that. And as it turns out, I was able to make some like balloons with the Hurt Party written on them, like for promo. It was cute.
Love it.
So that's why it's called that. Yes.
I have not heard this album, but when I sit down and listen to this whole album, all I'm going to think is as it picks up in pace, I'm going to go, well, the dog's running there. Now it's
the dog's tired now. Oh, this was written on a hot day when the dog doesn't want to run at all. Yeah.
Those things, I'm not going to get those out of my head now.
Perfect. And I would love to hear what kind of dog walking scenario you envision for each one of these songs.
I love it. We can do that. It's certainly not going to be with my dog because my dog would have been running all over the place. It would have been a very confusing album if it was done to my dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have two. I've got a Brittany Spaniel and a Labradoodle, and he's a big one.
Well, and we have two Labradoodles, and they're so Sprocket, my first Labradoodle, is on the back cover.
Oh, black Labradoodle! How gorgeous! Yes, it's a little bit bigger than that.
That's right. So now the next one's got to have Freddie on. So Freddie is Sprocket's brother, but 5 years younger, and so now the next album I do has got to have both of them on.
Yeah, it's the rule.
Yeah. I've got one chicken as well, so maybe she'll have to go.
Oh, she could have the front or the middle. Maybe the middle cover.
Maybe she'll have the CD. She'll have the disc.
So your dog looks way better behaved than mine because honestly, I don't know how they can be bringing them in to be guide dogs because Alfie would walk them into something.
Yeah, right.
It's not.
My understanding of guide dog selection is that for every one that gets selected, there's 1,000 that don't. And
I got that 1,000 in one dog.
Yeah, right. Well, Sprocket would. I actually think Sprocket would probably make it. Like he's super docile. He's very. When I got him, you know how they talk about dogs imprint on you as the owner or on another dog or whatever. When I got Sprocket, I was like super zen guy, like really much more healthy than I am now. And I was meditating every day, so I would sit and meditate, and Sprocket would like sit and meditate with me. And, he's just carried that on, and of course now we got this new puppy 6 months ago, and he just sits there like this while the puppy like drags his ear. He's so brilliant. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, no, not a hope for that. Alfie's 12 this year, and he's the youngest of all my animals, and he's not a hope. He hasn't slowed down yet.
That's great. Well, that's good news because I got to say that we got the new dog because I thought, all right. So I have this theory that you always have to have 2 gas bottles for your barbecue, right? Because
Oh,
The
yes.
the only time you run out of gas is when you're halfway through a barbecue. So you've got to have a spare gas bottle. So I was just like, my dog's 5 now, and I need an overlap dog in case
Yep.
something happens to him. Like if something
Yeah.
happened to Sprocket and I didn't have another dog, I'd be I
Yep.
mean, I not that you should really make analogies with pets and barbecues, but um, I'll leave it at that. But the overlap idea is very, 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 very
Yeah,
useful. But
I
I feel
do.
like we've covered our bases both emotionally and edibly. Yep.
We have, but yes, I do understand that. I've been thinking about getting another animal because my youngest is 12, my oldest is 16, going on 17.
Oh wow! Right.
Mm.
Yeah, you definitely need a new Labrador.
Time for a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. Time for a baby.
Now, tell us. I was interested actually, and I was talking to Beck earlier. You have been writing and recording a song a week this year. Is that because of isolation or?
No, that was an idea I had. So I did a project for a couple of years, which was a magnetic poetry project where I every day for 500 days, I made a little magnetic poem. You know that magnetic poetry that you get on the fridge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had that stuff, and I thought I'm just gonna see if I can make a little thing every day. And so it turned out for like 500 days I did, and that was really good for me. It was really good for my creativity and really good for my kind of mental health to have that commitment to something like that. And at the time, I was single, so it was good to have something to keep me on the straight and narrow. Um, and well, I stopped that, and then kind of I felt. Then we spent like last year recording the record, and then we had our other stuff. And I really felt towards the end of last year that I was missing having a commitment to being creative, to make sure I was being creative. And so I decided that, well, 2020 is going to be the year that I try to write a song every week. And that's just the thing I decided to do. And so far, I have done it. So I think we're 19 weeks in.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I write a song and then I get the video camera that's in front of me now and I record it and put it up on Facebook and whatnot. And then as time went by, like the first kind of 4 or 5 songs that I do was like, these are actually pretty good. So I went and actually recorded them with Michael Moko. So I put those out maybe in March, the first 8 tracks. So now I'm kind of in the middle. No, I won't say in the middle. I'm in the early stages of recording the next 9 tracks that I've done. So
Wow.
in theory, there should be about 52 tracks coming out this year, as well as the Hurt Party.
As well as a whole album. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big year.
Well, like it keeps me off the streets. I mean, turns out Corona's kept us off the streets anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of worked out well. But what's 2021 going to do? If you're going to do something that hard this year, what's 2021 going to bring?
Oh, look, I don't know. With any luck, we have a baby, and that keeps me off the streets.
Yeah, the streets.
I won't say that's the plan. That's the hope. Yeah.
That's the hope. Well, we have gone for half an hour already. So
how
before
have we gone for half an hour?
I have that effect on people.
That's a really good. That's a really good thing to actually have an effect on people. To make time fly, there's a great gift that you have, and so don't take that for granted because I know a lot of people that make half an hour feel like 5 months.
5 months, well, like this year has felt like time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how is it May already? And also, is it only May?
Is it only May? Yeah, I know. Yeah, we were saying earlier, Tamworth felt like a year ago.
Oh, just so long ago.
Yep. Yeah. I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that the next DAG goes ahead. I know the DAG Songwriters Retreat. I went to my first one last November and it was life-changing. Actually, if I think about it, that was probably the experience that made me want to write a song every week. Because
really?
In that weekend, I wrote 10 songs in a weekend, and it was like co-wrote 8 songs and wrote 2 by myself, and it was just unbelievable. So There's one slated for July, and we haven't been told that it's been called off yet. So hopefully,
fingers crossed, because I love the stuff that comes out of those JAG songwriting.
how good! Just
Amazing.
what a glorious bunch of people. Just
Rick Nash has just popped in and said hi, Dom.
Hey, Rick Nash, how are you, mate? How's your day? You've arrived in time for the end.
Just got here for the end, yes. Now, before we go, how can people get your album? Do they get it when it's out? Obviously, how will they get it off the website? Because obviously, if they want a hard copy, is there a way they can do that?
Yeah, if you would like a hard copy of The Hurt Party, it's on Bandcamp. Is the best place to get it.
Bandcamp.
So yeah, it's domitaliano.bandcamp.com, I believe.
Excellent. Excellent. Jump on there.
It's on pre-sale on all the digital stuff, but if you, I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but if you get it on Bandcamp, then I'll send it to you as soon as I get the order. So
if you want to hear it before Spotify lets you,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, look, a lot of people have had it for a long time because they were pledges, and all of the names of the pledges are inside the CD cover.
That is fantastic.
It's so cool. Those people are legends.
They're fantastic. Dom has written back, actually. It's just come up. Good, thanks, Dom. I'll catch up with you soon for a chat. I hope you start catching up with people very soon.
Can you imagine being able to not feel guilty about going to see your friends?
Yeah. Or stopping
I haven't seen my best friend for 2 months. And we used to do 3 gigs together a week and a podcast, and we haven't
done anything. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
It'll be like meeting a new person.
He will think that maybe I've eaten another person in the time I've been away. So yeah, there's a reason why we're only filming this from my chest up, because I don't have a lens wide enough for the belly that I've created in the last 2 months.
Too far away from the camera. That's what my issue is. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, and everyone, if they want to follow you on Facebook, it's
Dom Italiano Music.
Isn't it? I was going to say it's Dom Italiano, but I think it's music on the end, isn't it?
Yeah. If you just look up Dom Italiano, you'll probably find my normal profile, but you'll also find a real estate agent in Perth, and there'll be I think there's another guy who's a truck driver in Adelaide. So
he's the real estate agent.
He's the real estate agent, and I'm the real singer-songwriter, Dom Italiano. Yeah. And it's the same on Instagram and YouTube, Dom Italiano Music.
Excellent. So jump over there, guys, and give it a follow and grab the song if you haven't already heard it. But I think a lot of people have heard it. It's fantastic. So
that's great. And look, I want to say that I've not had, up until my last EP and this album, I've not had a lot of experience making records with producers and other musos. I've done most of my stuff kind of by myself, and that is great to be able to do that. But having someone like Damien produce it and play everything on it as well, practically, but also the Arsonist has Greta Zilla as the other vocalist, and one of the things I love about the sort of the country music family is how everyone's just so up for kind of sharing songs with each other, and it's just such a lovely vibe, and to have that kind of talent and caliber of person, talk about absolute legend people,
beautiful people with genuine people, and it's just
I think one of the things that come from the Academy is pretty much any guest speaker that came in, their number one advice for all of us people at Academy was don't be a dick. And while it's probably the greatest bit of advice you give anyone at any time in your life anyway, but it's just so true. Everyone I met in Tamworth, whether they were just dudes helping out behind the bar, or real name people, they were angels, just beautiful, awesome people. So
it's just amazing. I find that every week it's the same. We all feel that, and I think that's what makes it, because it's not just us that feels it when we're working together or artists working together, but it's people that are buying the music. They can feel that connection that people have, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I think people like like Greta, and like someone like Luke O'Shea or Limbo Tell, like their personality just comes. I mean, one of the great gifts they have is that their humanity comes through their music,
Yeah,
and when you see them perform, and I really agree with what you just said. Like there's people love the music because they can hear great people
exactly.
coming at them through those songs, and yeah, it's a lovely group of people who have met so late in my life. Not that I mean, I'm actually 74 years old. Yeah,
Next week.
yeah, yeah. I turned 75 in September. I just it's all the green juice.
He looks great for his
Pretty
age.
good. Pretty good for 75. I look terrible for 42, but yeah, it's been really nice. It's been really lovely to meet such a great group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We couldn't be luckier, and I think that's what makes our country stand out with our music. I really do.
Yeah, you just don't hear really any stories about anyone being a dick. Like it's almost like they get whittled out really quick, and it's like people who are dicks don't want to hang out with nice people, so they don't stick around in the scene.
Yeah, exactly right. And they don't last. They don't last. You can pick it as soon as you think, oh yeah, that's not gonna last, and they're gone the next year.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I better show up next year then, just to
better be here next year for
convince myself that I'm a nice guy.
Love to have you back when your album's coming out, and we can.
Oh yeah, I'd love that. It'd be great.
It'd be fantastic. So we will be in touch.
Well, next time I come on, I'll make sure the dogs are in here so they can be.
Yeah. I won't bring mine inside, but I might take you for a walk to see them.
Oh, cool! Awesome. That sounds good. I love it.
First, pick up the food.
Yeah, they're. It's amazing how much they can create. Yeah.
Does yours do a little bit here and then wander over for a meter or so, then a little bit more?
Yeah. It is. Well, okay. We've probably taken this conversation to the point where it's very personal.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's not us.
Well, it's not us, no. But I also, here's the thing. What I don't want is people to be jaded by the conversation we're having. That when they do meet my dog, right? So they're like, yeah, you're the one that shits in 3 different places, right? Because I think they should know more about them than just that.
Mine just demonstrates that for them. Usually, he's quite.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. Well, that's certainly. We can't work out. We can't work out how my dog doesn't run out of pee when we go for a walk. It's like, how much pee do you have? So you're a small dog.
It's impressive. They hold it and they wait until you can walk them. It might be a day, but we'll hold.
Yeah, and they just walk around going, mine.
That's mine too. Oh, I marked that already, but I'll still have it again.
I love it when there's like a couple of dogs and like one like marks a post and then the other one goes up and then the one dog goes back and they're like they can't kind of like, no, I said mine. It's mine.
Who's going to do this when they empty? Well, thank you so much for joining us. That we've often talked about dogs and we
I love it.
So this is fantastic. Everyone will remember you.
Look, if I'm going to be known for anything, I want to be known as the dog shit guy. Yeah. Hey, look, I just want to say thanks for having me. I've had a really crummy couple of days. My Monday and Tuesday were really not good for me, and it's been really nice to have a lovely conversation with someone that wasn't based around me feeling crap. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thank you so much for coming. It was really wonderful. Guys,
pleasure.
We're going to keep going. Go out and get Dom's music, but we'll be back tomorrow night. I'll be back tomorrow night with solely us. So we're going to have a chat. Yeah, so it's going to be fantastic. Another fantastic night. How cool. We're lucky when we get 2 nights a week. It's excellent. 2 nights a week for people hearing me going crazy.
Crazy.
Oh, that's a brave thing.
There's crazy and you're not crazy. You're just
on the other one. Yeah. Okay, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. See you guys.
Thanks for having me. See you guys. Take care.